All right, so I got my taxes done. I bought some sunglasses, and now I'm gonna go start finding attorney clients. I'm gonna walk in just like this, be like, "Hey, you need to do process serving for you?" Gotta like see you getting a face tattoo also, but maybe that's overkill. I'm so happy actually not to be working for ABC Legal as an independent contractor anymore. I mean, I think they're good. I think that they run their overall business off of a whole bunch of smaller independent contractors. Um, doing a big cycle like I did. I think I was just like at the beginning of the third day. Some of the ones I started on the first day, 3 days prior, were going overdue, so they go red. And it was like 8 every day. I just kind of probably needed to dial it down just a slight bit. I didn't think it was as big of a deal as maybe it was, but they gave me no cause. I didn't have a bunch of things that were going wrong, other than they took me from a 5-star rating to a 4.25 over the 4 months. They said I'd take too many attempts to get the service of process done, and that's the other thing mainly, other than just the overdue, is that you need to do one in the morning before 8 a.m., 11 or 8 a.m. I mean, it just depends on. Um, there's things that depend, but you want to do it before 8 a.m. and then you want to do one after 6. You want to do one on the weekend and then one on another day, and that's your basic diligence. And you can file an affidavit regarding proof of reasonable diligence. Maybe try a few more times. Other than that, to deliver someone their documents, and you want to also document why you think that that's a good address for them. If someone is avoiding service of process, it's their constitutionally recognized natural right to have notice delivered to them of something that's been filed in a court of law. So them avoiding that, it's the same thing as the law system creating the privilege of a process server to walk onto someone's property with the document to deliver service of process and it not be trespass. It's not a process server's right, nor is it a process server having authority. It's called a privilege. So the law has to create this other thing. That's the same as accepting. It's similar. It's a parallel to the courts accepting affidavit regarding proof of reasonable diligence. You can't get in the way of someone upholding your right and then say they didn't uphold your right. I mean, it's one of those things. It's probably called something else as well, other than one of those things. But do I look exactly like I'm looking for that answer right now? No, I'm just explaining the functional things that happen in service of process. So I want to do small claims and enforcement of judgment legal document assistance with Apex Law Service. And we're going to be doing skip tracing and asset location. I can do skip tracing for service of process right now, but not for collections first. I can do collections. I'm getting a new account with the same tracers.com, so I can do skip tracing for collections first, and then for filling out your small claims and doing service of process. And then asset location is something I'm going to be doing on a subcontract with a private investigator. And then I have attorney clients too. So I can do legal document assistance, or you can hire one of our attorneys who's our client, and they will then tell us what to do as their paralegal if you need something more complex. But a lot of enforcement of judgment has to do with, there's only one procedure based on what assets you're able to find. So you talk with the PI first, and we help them do asset location to save you money. It's my niche of what I'm developing as a niche, is to help people to enforce their judgments, because 80% of small claims judgments, state of California, nationwide, I think they go unenforced. It's just too much work for the regular person to get into when they have to do their work. They have to go to work and things like that, and it costs extra money. So saving people money and being efficient and a pro who's focused on that is what Apex Law Service His whole focus is with civil litigation is mainly small claims and enforcement of judgment. I have some guys who work out of their houses who do criminal defense paralegal work for these different attorneys, and I have 2 criminal defense attorney clients who I can refer people to. I want to focus on DUIs. With the whole political climate, social climate in our country, there isn't anything else much that I really feel like talking about the criminal law other than DUI, and you need to probably like change your life, but we can help you with your legal situation. So there's that, and then there's family law, and it kind of all goes together. If you're the niche is construction and mechanical professionals. If you don't get paid, you get mad. You get mad, you drink. You drink, you drive. You drive drunk, get DUI. The wife wants to divorce you. Those things go together. So building business trust is the other thing. Bad credit happens with this stuff. I can help you build a little business trust. I love the business trust modality. You can buy this excellent book from Trust Art. They're here in San Diego. It's called The Uncorporation. A business trust is a trust where you're the grantor, beneficiary, and the trustee. And you can register with the IRS, get a fictitious business name, go to Wells Fargo and get a business profile with that EIN and that FBN, and open up a business bank account. They still will want your social security number, but no search of your social security number is going to show that bank account per se. They'll see somehow that you're the trustee is maybe about it. That information, though, of everything else is not registered at the state of California. You're not required to see the incorporation system is something that's happened because of a streamline. There's businesses who don't want to work with business trusts because they can't go and find all the information in the world about you and your business. What a business trust is then a set of private operating agreements between you and vendors, you and employees, you and subcontractors. You build it from there. It's the most real thing that you can make. They call it a true corporation or a Delaware corporation, a business trust. You can look it up. You can read about it. The Uncorporation, the book costs $7. I'm really into talking with people about the basics of how to set up your business account and do the EIN and the FBN. There's, I think it's Freedom Voice. It's like $10 or $11. I have one for my business trust, and it's good for Dun & Bradstreet to see as your actual phone number. There's types of phone numbers out there, those e-phone numbers. They don't all work well for establishing business credit, which is what you want to then do. So register with Dun & Bradstreet, get a Freedom Voice. Let me make sure it's Freedom Voice. Hold on. I have it written right here on my little ledger. I'll keep talking because so many people watch these videos. I don't want to leave a blank spot. Let's see. It's freedomvoice.com. Man, it's bright in here. Let's put these on because they look cool, and then that helps you build your business credit as you're building your business trust. You have to file taxes once you start making money. You're not really required to do a tax filing. You have like 5 years, I think, to file your first taxes from when you make your first money. That's not tax advice. It's me saying, don't worry about it. Start an entity so you have an entity for your own personal asset protection for whatever you want to do. You can get a little resale permit and buy things wholesale and sell them retail, like on eBay or Shopify or any way you want to at the swap meet. You can build business credit that way if you've messed up your credit. So these things all go together. These are things that, mediation, collections, unlawful detainer document assistance, service of process for unlawful detainer. I am on the flip side of unlawful detainer. I'm not going to help you if you're getting evicted. Just pack up, cut your losses, and find a new place. That's what you need to do. I help landlords from time to time service of process because these are very evasive servees, so you have to end up. What I do is I work on talking with people, but what I also do is I sneak it to a family member. Like when I do affidavit regarding proof of reasonable diligence, I show up I end up showing up like 10 times. I hit all the diligence spots, then I sneak the document to a family member. I tell them, hey, this isn't service. I still have to keep coming back, so that's just information, because it is just information. But what I'm not telling them about is that I'm going to argue to a judge that it's very reasonable that this person did in fact give the document to the person it's owed to. So the duty on the side of the plaintiff has been upheld, and they have upheld, the reason for the duty, that someone needs to know what's in a court of law. And it's not a trick. It just buttresses what I'm doing overall. I don't know. I used to feel a different way about people in debt. I don't think that they're doing anything other than needing to get in gear. Like whatever happened, that's all I really think. And so these little things to you get the service of process done, you just do it. That's really that. Collections is the thing. I'm buying delinquent debt portfolios. I'm starting a different business trust to buy the portfolios and using Apex Law Service as the collector with my own investments, that opening up to a couple of friends to buy some of the delinquent debt with me. I've done that stuff in the past, but I've done collections for direct businesses. That stuff works how it works. You have to do your letter writing and your phone calls and your emails. You have to scrub your list for people who use their personal cell phones on sole proprietors. Like you have to make sure not to call the number on someone's website if it's their personal cell phone. Different stuff. I don't know. I like it. I went through paralegal training. Rather than going to seminary in 2014, I had all my financing together and my ship date to go up to Berkeley, to go to one of the member schools of the Graduate Theological Union, the Pacific Lutheran Theological School. I was going to go there, even though I basically vote Republican and kind of conservative. I've always liked the historical critical hermeneutic that the Evangelical Lutheran Church in America uses. The Lutheran Congregations in Mission for Christ is a conservative group that's more open to the historical critical hermeneutic. But what I was in was a diaconal Masters of Divinity. And what I feel is that my little project, allinservice.org, can be done by a progressive group or a conservative group, because kids are the great equalizer when it comes to all these things that we've seen, people pulling out fake guns and putting them at the cops and getting shot, and then the outcry. You should never do that. You would never teach your own child to do that. Kids shouldn't have these guys quite as heroes. They should see it as a type of tragedy of wrong, short circuit in thinking. Like you're getting yourself shot by the cops. That's no way. There's no way that's. I mean, when police do things wrong, when anybody does something wrong, they can be taken and held accountable. But if someone in a neighborhood calls and they're saying someone has a gun outside a liquor store and the cops show up, cops are all black and the person's black and they have a gun, and you say it's racist because of the system, I do agree that slavery made a real unequal footing to stand on. But it's not the answer to point guns at the cops like that. I mean, it's just a tragedy. And so I think kids need this other thing from people who are part of religious and non-religious community groups. You generally have people who are not doing those things. You're in a better organization. We argue a lot about Republican and Democrat, conservative and progressive, but we have these same principles of, one, staying alive, but like having a life that has some income, you have some normality to it. That's the type of stuff kids need to see. And the idea is to do 3 hours of community service on a roadside adoption that your organization adopts with kids who come to you from juvenile probation. You have a permission slip and a call sheet and a schedule, and then invite the kid to your youth group or whatever you do, and their families to whatever the organization does, and then get some of the kids involved in police athletic league. That's the other thing. Kids think the whole system's set up for failure and that the police are their enemies. I mean, if you want to be a gangster, the police are going to be after you. That's that. But most kids are not. I mean, the whole thing about crime culture is that it's something in the human psyche. Like, we've always been into gangster movies. There's always been cinema and plays about, power struggles between kings and criminals, right? Like, okay, so we have a representative democracy, we have a constitutional republic, we have a president and a Congress, and we have a judiciary, and we have the governors and the Congress and the state judiciary. We have our federalist system. We have kings, and everybody else is a criminal. We have a lot of freedom, though, where things that we do would be criminal in other countries. And that's why we have all these arguments that we have. It creates a lot of wealth because you have the freedom to do things, but it's always going to create this conflict. Like, you have the folk hero outlaw and motorcycle gangs in our country. To a lot of people, they're folk heroes. To a lot of other people, they say, how is the government not able to stop this? Well, it's because we have this constitution that's really way more liberal of a document than other foundational documents. And so, a constitutional originalist isn't a pure conservative. I say that we have our constitutional principles. You have the freedom to have these types of viewpoints. I think it's not the greatest thing to be way beyond a moderate in either direction of politics, or within the Lutheran traditions, we have real conservative groups, and I mean the ELCA is real progressive, and the LCMS is real conservative. You can't have a more stark contrast within a basic denominational group, but there's a lot of people who are real moderate about just like what. I mean, we don't like shun our friends that have the opposite side of politics views. We do argue about, I don't know, the LCMS, I think, threw a little bit of the baby Jesus out with the bathwater by not accepting any type of debate about what was being taught in Chicago in 1974. I think they just did a fact-finding commission and said, no, this perfect hardline conservative set of views are not being taught in the seminary. Therefore, those seminarians are out. They started seminary in exile, joined with another group, and became the ELCA. And we have arguments in perpetuity. It's never going to end. I think it's good that we have the conservative anchor of the LCMS, and it's our German Christian tradition in the United States, Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. I have a good friend who's Lutheran Congregations in Mission for Christ pastor, who he's not as enamored with historical critical hermeneutic as I am. I was about to go to the ELCA and then I was going to probably be a quiet person there and just do this thing, because I believe that people who are liberal and conservative are still good role models for these kids. It's one of the largest denominations in the United States. It means the most congregations. It means the most cities and the most kids who can gravitate towards something better than going to juvenile hall. My systematic theology professor was a St. Genius. He's a high Mensa genius. His doctor father was Schubert Ogden. Not everybody in the ELCA is Dr. Jarvis Schroeder's level of intellect and academic prowess. You read the whole Summa Theologica in Latin. It's like 12,000 pages, something like that. Like, this guy's a real high-level genius. We passed away. We have books that he wrote. But he taught all the different spectrum of viewpoints. He every single type of viewpoint there's a whole spectrum. And it's along a different calculus than like conservative, liberal, or like how constitutional originalists and constitutional progressives. There might be some mix and match for someone who's maybe moderately conservative or moderately liberal. People say there's no more conservative Democrats. I think human nature isn't served well by the whole Democrat platform of social programming so much, and that people need to be given help to build their own thing or to build their own job skills more than they need to just always be in reliance on the government. There's people who say that the Democrat Party is the true racist because it keeps black people and other minorities in servitude to the government because they're in total reliance. It's like feeding. Well, I don't want to equate humans to dogs. I have always said it's like feeding dogs scraps at the table, but I think the social gospel roots of it were, they're well intended. But the ire towards back and forth towards each other, we get the worst out of both sides, I think, with the ire. I don't know. That's what allinservice.org is about, though. Reach out to different fraternal order of police people, chiefs of police, head of gang task force in different cities, different pastors, different denominational leaders. And it's all been the same positivity towards it, that it's a good idea, that we need to work on it harder. I'm still not stopping my other business because I think it's something that people need to do of their own free will, and it doesn't need to be an entity. It just needs to be maybe a trend, a movement within entities that we do. That's why I call myself just a free consultant for that. I don't know, but I got to get out there this week and get some business from some attorneys. So I'm gonna walk in with my Lokes on. I think they look cool. They look like well, I don't know. They look like a lot of people. Have you ever seen God, the Devil, and Bob? God wears sunglasses like this. So it's just service of process and being diligent for attorneys and for legal document assistance, for divorce and other cases. I got to get it done, though. I was making $5,000 a month, and that's the whole thing. They bid it this way. We're making $20 a serve. You can, I was driving 16, 17 hours a day during service of process. I needed to charge maybe $100 or $50 to $100 and do less, but do get them done a little more efficiently. But for credit card lawsuits, I didn't feel like the credit card lawsuit attorneys, the law firms, I didn't think they really were deserving of me making no money just to get their service of process done in 2 weeks rather than 3 weeks. I really don't think with a court date 6 months out that they're out anything. I might just be thinking about it wrong. I was the CEO of ABC Legal. I'd set the business policies to where, this guy just has, his numbers are a little too slow. We got to let him go. So that's that. So I can't sleep at night because I don't know what the factors are. Being given no information, having my contract terminated without cause, just leaves me open to conjecture and sleeplessness for a few days. All right. That's it. Share this with all your hot attorney friend, female lawyers. They're all I need in life. Bunch of hot attorney clients.